Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is May 28th, and I am in South Dakota, Wall, South Dakota, just outside the Badlands this morning, bringing you your Pacific Northwest weather forecast for today. Looking at the infrared satellite imagery, you can see this developing system right offshore here, bringing clouds over the region already. Fairly strong low pressure system moving onto the Oregon coast, going to keep much of the area cloudy and bring precipitation much of the area. Some places, some pretty good amounts. We'll take a look at those coming up. And you can see after this, we're probably going to build some ridging for a couple days on into next week. So a couple warm days. And it looks like models have pretty good agreement of another trough developing offshore and through the Gulf of Alaska on through the extended. We'll take a look at that as well. So I'm out here. I'll be chasing some severe weather across the plains. The troughing in the west is going to help out the development of those storms for the next few days now. So if we take a look here, the rest of the country, there is that fire danger for the Southwest, mainly New Mexico and Arizona. There are some wind advisories through areas of California and Nevada, and they're preparing for this storm as it kind of, as a trough, as it kind of dives down across the region. Will cool places down all the way down to Las Vegas. I'll show you a graphic on that here in a moment also. So taking a look here at Las Vegas temperatures, look at this Monday, only a high of 82, which is, if you go down there much, you know, it's pretty chilly. You can see Friday and then the following Thursday up to 100 degrees. So it's even going to cool down Vegas a bit some. And I'll show you some of the temperature anomalies we're dealing with this trough coming through the west here. So this is around the rest of the country as well. This is convective outlook today, mainly a wind threat across the region today. And as we go on into tomorrow, we do start to introduce a tornado threat across the region for Nebraska into South Dakota, Iowa, and portions of Minnesota. And there will be a tornado threat again as we go on into Monday. And Tuesday, there's still a severe threat across much of the region out there too. We'll see how this develops based on the previous 2 days convective activity. So here's Seattle. Check this out. So yesterday, you guys got 62, a little bit below average for the temperatures here across the region. We averaged 68 this time of year. It doesn't seem like it recently here, but we were pretty well below average yesterday, and that's going to continue today. Then we're going to warm up a couple of days before we go back down to below average temperatures. So taking a look here, this is an AM3 cam. You can see that storm system developing offshore here. Pretty robust little low pressure system here for late May. As you can see, it spread precipitation all the way up to the Puget Sound, really targets the central and northern Cascades through Oregon as this system moves through and brings some good snowfall for that area for late May. Some snow for the higher terrain of eastern Oregon, Idaho, the Rockies off into southwest Montana as well, and even the Washington Cascades and a bit of the upper terrain for British Columbia. We'll see some snow from this chilly system as well. And put that into motion here, and it does bring some wraparound moisture as this low pressure system moves through here, and this kind of brings some much of the precip for portions of eastern Washington, can help further bust that drought over there. Now you can see this is precipitation totals here. Put this into motion, and you can see that precipitation shield just overspread the region here. Some pretty good amounts for the coastal areas and the higher terrain. See Seattle get a decent amount too, and just kind of hangs out there through Sunday night. And this looks to start about Saturday afternoon. As you can see, the totals start to come in here, even Saturday morning. So you probably get those high clouds not giving you much of a break at any point during Saturday or Sunday. And then as we bring this on in through Monday, you'll notice that wraparound moisture come for eastern Washington later in on Tuesday there. But this is the European, so it's a little bit different than the NAM. The NAM does show more precipitation for eastern Washington, but check out this swath of moderate to heavy totals all the way from the Oregon, Washington coast, the Cascades, to the higher terrain of eastern Oregon, all the way through Idaho and on into Wyoming and Montana. So checking out the temperatures here, you can probably imagine with that storm system moving in here, it doesn't show Seattle warming up much today. Eastern Washington does get up for 70 degrees there. And then as we go through the day Sunday, you'll notice not much of a warm up either. You get up to the upper 50s maybe for the Willamette and Puget Sound area. Cools down eastern Washington pretty well too, with that strong westerly wind rolling through there. So we get into Monday, we do warm up a bit more, maybe into the low 60s for Puget Sound, Willamette Valley. And then as we go on into Tuesday, we start to get a bit warmer. That should be one of the 2 warm days. Tuesday and Wednesday should really warm up for Seattle and Portland. As you can see, the Willamette Valley getting up into the low 70s, close to normal for this time of year. Eastern Washington warms back up on Tuesday also. Let's check out the wind field for the storm system here. You could get some breezy winds along the Oregon coast with this as it moves in, especially in that bent back occlusion. You can see impacting the central coast there as it moves through the area. And then you can see the winds pick up across the Cascades, the eastern slopes, as that strong westerly or west northwesterly wind rolls across the region there, ushering in that chilly air across the area. But then we're going to build that ridge behind it. So we'll take a look at some of those temperatures on the European ensemble coming up in a minute. But check this out, 2-meter temperature anomaly for this time of year. As we put this into motion here, look at some of these temperatures down through the Siskiyous, the southern Cascades of Oregon, pretty much all of Washington, British Columbia below average, all the way down into really central California. And as we go through the day, Sunday night, look at this. There are some areas that have temperatures 34 degrees below average as you go through the day Sunday. That's really amazing. Actually, we're going to back up and look at that again here. We're going to go forward a little bit more and check out some of the areas by Twin Falls, the higher terrain down there. 35 degrees below normal on Monday afternoon. Just an incredible shot of cold air coming across the region. And this cold air is what's going to spawn the severe weather out in Tornado Alley. But this is really a unique shot of cold air across much of the Pacific Northwest and the Intermountain West. This is total snow. This is the European model. You can see the central southern Cascades of Oregon getting good shot. Washington and BC get a little bit of snow out of this, but Idaho, southwest Montana, higher terrain, and northwest Wyoming are the big winners out of this trough moving down across the west as far as snowfall totals are concerned. We'll skip that and we'll go right here to the low pressure system moving in on the European model. You can see this is a very robust low. It is strengthening right up before landfall. Then it starts to fill as it moves inland there. And then you can see the ridging building behind that, which will probably give us a couple nice days, Tuesday and Wednesday across the region. And again, we'll look at that in a little more detail here in a moment. This is looking at North America here. This is the European. And actually, let's look at the upper level heights here, and we'll check out the mean ridge and trough position. You can see the big trough that's spawning that storm system into Oregon there during the afternoon today. Trough hangs out for a bit, but then you see the ridging build in for Tuesday and Wednesday. And then you'll notice that ridge kind of break down as that troughing gets going right off the Washington, BC, Oregon coast on in through next weekend. So we just cannot escape this cooler than normal temperatures. It's probably going to bring some precipitation to the region, probably keep us colder than normal. But we are on the southerly side. The south flow of this system will keep us a little bit, it's not going to keep us from getting too cold, but we will be below average. Checking out the GFS here, let's go ahead and look at the upper level heights on this also. See if we have good agreement in the short term with that trough digging out over the west. Trough hangs out for the Pacific Northwest a bit, and the ridging moves in there for the couple of days. And then you can see the GFS is in agreement with the European, but building that trough a little bit farther offshore, more towards the Gulf of Alaska and out over the Pacific. But it does incorporate the Pacific Northwest here. And then check that out as we get into early June, the first week of June, kind of active it looks like here. So we're gonna have to watch this. You can see storm systems continue to roll through the Pacific Northwest before it tries to build a transient ridge, and then yet another system. Now that almost looks like a windstorm in the extended there of the GFS, but getting out towards Fantasyland there. So we'll just have to keep an eye on this, but good model agreement from the GFS and the Euro on the troughing as we go on into the extended. This is the Canadian. Let's also look at the upper level heights here and to see if the general agreement of the pattern going forward. Good agreement in the short term as always. Trough hangs out for a bit there on Monday. Heights build on Tuesday. There's the ridging for Tuesday and Wednesday. And actually kind of hangs on the ridging a little bit more, but there starts to come the troughing there on Thursday morning across the region. And it brings it pretty close to the coastline there. So we'd probably get a decent system out of that and some rainfall across the region before some even deeper troughing, as you can see, sets up over the Gulf of Alaska and over the Pacific on the Canadian. So pretty good agreement for later on into next week and next weekend for more troughing to be over the area. Check this out for Seattle, Tacoma. You can see these really chilly days coming up here, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then we get up towards average here for Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday might even be a little bit above average, which would be nice. And then you can see the troughing return Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and on into next weekend, but then a little bit of a warm up as we go on into the extended there, but that's a bit far out in the forecast to get excited about. And here is for Pendleton. You can see the chilly temperatures coming through Monday, and then they start to warm up at Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they kind of stay a little bit warmer than the western portions do on at least this run of the European. Check out Twin Falls Idaho. Look at the forecast high for Monday. And this was kind of the bullseye of where those really anomalous temperatures were. And you can see 43 degrees for a high. And then you can see later on that week, they're looking at temperatures into the low 80s or around 80. So that just kind of shows you the extreme nature of this cold air moving down into the west coast of the USA. Actually, so this is Twin Falls here. What did I show you guys here? This was also Twin Falls. Okay, so I was showing you GFS and the GFS long range, or I was showing you the Euro. So here's the GFS long range. Good agreement there with the European. You can see 44 for a high on Monday, and then they really warm up as you get towards the end of next week and maybe start to drop down again as we saw that trough in the extended. But once you get out this far, these temperatures are not going to be accurate. So yeah, enjoy that weather today, as this cloud shield's really going to keep you cloudy during the day today. This rain's going to move in during the day and afternoon today across the region. Some pretty decent precipitation amounts, which of course will be good for any kind of summer wildfire season. Hopefully it suppresses that to an extent. But yeah, that system will move through. Eventually it'll kind of hang out and there'll be some wraparound moisture probably associated with it. But then by Tuesday, it looks like we're going to warm up a bit, and Wednesday also, before the next trough sets up somewhere offshore here, offshore the Pacific Northwest. And we will take a look at that here in the next day or two. So yeah, I'll be out chasing here in South Dakota today, maybe down into Nebraska a bit, or maybe even as far west as Wyoming today. And then I'll be probably out in eastern South Dakota tomorrow, and then maybe even Minnesota, Iowa, or even Kansas on Monday, and then maybe one more chase day, and then I'll probably return home for at least a few days. But I will keep doing these briefings probably every other day while I'm on the road, and just to keep everything up to date here. So I'll probably do a motel review today too, maybe just a couple minutes. Nice hotel here in Wall, South Dakota. You guys probably know about that drugstore out here on I-90. If you've ever driven past here, there's literally hundreds of signs advertising the place. So yeah, enjoy today. Click like, subscribe, and leave some comments below, give some feedback, and I will talk to you guys probably the day after tomorrow.